Hi, I'm Terry Murphy, Senior Editor for Realty Times, Women in Business, Women in Real Estate, and in the Men's Room with Murph. And our guest today is a powerhouse in the mortgage industry. Her name is Cyndi Garza. She is the Vice President of National Retail Sales for Union Home Mortgage. And she is the founder of Optimize Success, which is a wonderful leadership program for women, but it's also a podcast series that she has it's a five-star podcast series, which in the world of podcasts, which has exploded over the years, that's a wonderful way to go, Cyndi. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your podcast and how we can avail ourselves of hearing and listening and participating.
Oh, thank you for asking, Terry. Yes, it's called Optimize Success, and it's a podcast, and we run series. And our most popular series is the Success series. And we do kind of have a focus on women, although we do have some great men that have been successful in that series as well. But we look at all industries. I think sometimes we can get kind of caught up in our own industry and what tools are working. And when we expand that out to other industries, we learn so much. And I think the fundamentals are the fundamentals, but hearing different women speak on, one was Miranda Fry and how she built this like $1 million jewelry company online. And then Dr. Sheila Nazarian, we interviewed her recently, and she shared with us how she's in a building with every other plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, and how she was able to outshine and just grow her practice. And now she has a series on Netflix, her own show. So it's just been so fun reaching out to these different women and finding out how they have achieved so much success. And the one thing that kind of was the thread line with all of them is that they were happy before they hit the success. And I think sometimes we transpose that.
Well, I also think that there's an element here that I'm learning through our own coaching and consulting is that women don't often give themselves permission. And I'm not saying that they hold themselves back, but women, just how they think, will go through extra steps to think. The male brain works a little bit differently. And sometimes we need women to give us that nudge. So I am particularly grateful for women who get out there and share the collaborative, intellectual, relational, experiential capital of other women. So tell us a little bit of the podcast. Does it run every week? Is it every day? How long are they? Give us a little more information about that.
Yeah, they're usually about a half hour, 30 minutes. And there's usually a couple per month, unless we're doing a series. So when we ran the Success series, we did it every single day for 23 days. And now we added.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And it was a lot, but we just had wonderful feedback. So now we do 2 a month, and we are just introducing a new series called Faith and Success. I'm a very spiritual person and give a lot of credit to my faith. And so we've interviewed some wonderful speakers on that as well, and how they've brought that into, because in the past that was kind of taboo to talk about the two together. And so that's kind of fun. So once a month, we're talking about the spiritual side of it.
I think that's terrific because it's, especially today, we need a really strong why. And sometimes when we lose our way, it's because we've not connected to that why. And being our best selves is our mission. It's our intention in the physical. So thank you for that. So how do I sign up for the podcast?
It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. It's called Optimize Success. If you go to our website, there's links to it in there as well. If you follow me on social media, on Instagram, Cynthia D. Garza, we always have that in the link tree there where you can find our coaching, our podcast, everything is right there.
So I want to ask you this question. You're a full-time professional. You're a C-suite leader. You've got the coaching program that you do. You've got the one-on-one coaching. You're an executive coach certified. I mean, and now Mortgage Girlfriends. Tell us, how do you reserve enough energy for you and your family? Because prioritizing is an issue for a lot of women. Everything's a priority. And so they don't often give that blocking, I would say. Just give us one hint on how you manage your day.
It was very simple. My family was always first. I always made my family my priority. And even as I was originating, started as a loan officer, went into a branch manager, area manager, regional, I made it clear that my family always came first. And I think sometimes in sales roles, you feel like you have to just give everything to that customer. And I would just say to the client, at 5 o'clock, I'm with my family. On the weekends, I'm with my family. I never made myself that available. And I think it created a demand, actually. And so I was pretty organized during the day and would, take care of my tasks. I didn't spend a lot of time chit-chatting with everybody. I kind of put the blinders on and would do my work. But my goal was that I raised happy, healthy, successful children, and I had a great marriage while doing that. And I feel like it's paid off now. And still to this day, I make them a priority. I start every single morning talking to my 2 daughters. My husband and I work together. So everybody always says, how do you work with your husband? And I can't imagine not working with my husband. And then, of course, my mom, we got to fit mom in every single day too. And so I just felt that was my priority, and it worked well for me.
Well, since you brought up family, okay, and I know that both girls are mega successes, do you want to give us a little insight into that part of your life? These 2 girls that you managed with a full-time career, climbing a corporate ladder, establishing and reaching out to other women. Tell us, this is a perfect example of when you have great parenting, we have great kids. Tell us a little bit about your girls.
Oh, thank you. I love to talk about my daughters. One thing my husband and I agreed on early on is we weren't going to subject ourselves to peer pressure from other parents. And we were going to look for the strengths inside our own children and push them in those ways rather than, fitting this model of what school are they going to go to, what job are they going to get, just that regular trail most people take. And so we saw it right away with my oldest, and she graduated high school, wanted to go to beauty school and become a hairstylist, went on to beauty school, and we encouraged her. And she started making YouTube videos showing her clients how she did their hair or their makeup and would post them up on YouTube for them to see. Google reached out to her, couldn't believe the following she had, and wanted to represent her. And this was 10, 11 years ago when YouTube videos weren't even really a thing. And she said, she was working, at the hair salon. She said, I want to quit my job and do this full time. And my husband and I both said, you should really do it because your heart's here. And then my second daughter, same thing with her. She graduated from college and really wanted to start doing this, had a big interest in what her sister was doing. And so, we got them set up with an attorney, created a business, and encouraged them to start looking for opportunities within that. I think sometimes you're always focused on just your one role, but there's so many opportunities around to expand that. And so they've both been able to do that, and we're just so proud of them, and they're enjoying their life. And my son-in-law always teases me and says, when we were focused on doing our homework every single night, you were making your daughters write business plans. And I feel like we kind of did that a little bit. It's just in us.
Isn't that great, though? Well, I like to end segments with women in a positive way that would help other women, because sometimes we have a script that we've been comfortable with. And I'd like to say, if I only knew then what I know now, what would you have done differently? What would you have accepted, celebrated about yourself? If I only knew then what I know now. Want to finish that sentence?
Oh, that's such a great question. If I only had the confidence.
Bingo. That's it. If we'd only loved ourselves more, if we had only trusted ourselves more, if we'd only realized that one word helped one person. That is exactly, and we didn't even practice that. That is terrific.
We didn't.
Well, I know that everybody listening here wants to be with women where it's a safe and wonderful, warm, and a gentle place to be, where you can help someone see something they couldn't see in themselves. I know that's part of your coaching, your leadership, your one-on-one, and Mortgage Girlfriends. Tell us the best way to reach you.
I would say follow me on social media. That's where you see the whole Cyndi. You see the family, the business, the different businesses. And I'm very active on Instagram, Cynthia D. Garza. or LinkedIn. I'm on there too, Cyndi Garza, and as you mentioned, it's CYNDI. But I love social media. I find it fun, and I share my whole self out there.
Well, we are always grateful for women like you that are willing to share, willing to be vulnerable about what you do and how you do it. I want to thank you for joining us here at Realty Times Women in Business, and I hope you'll join us again on a regular segment, because I know you are going to kick mortgage girlfriends way up, and women all over the country are going to want to be with Cyndi Garza, Cyndi with a Y. I'm Terry Murphy for Women's Wisdom Network. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Terry.